It was a long, long journey back from the other side of the world, it seemed. But the small group of dwarves finally set their feet on the road home. They arrived in their city to find it overrun, not by invaders, at least the kind they'd be used to, but by something else entirely. Entirely foreign, entirely alien, and as they'd soon come to find out, entirely deadly.
Huh.
So you guys,
like that.
I know,
No bueno.
I know, it's no bueno at all. You guys, when we last left off the Granite Backs, which is now sadly over a month ago,
Yeah.
Forever.
it's crazy. And Andy for even longer because he missed the week in there. You guys had traveled further down the road to Enganis. You met a ghost and got a cool like fold out map of the city. That was really sweet. You got you saw some really weird wildlife crossing the underground plains, and then what else happened to you guys? What else? They're all random encounters. I don't remember which ones you got. Tony sniffed the dryad.
That's right. Yeah.
It now has fungal dryad spores in his nose that he has to go blow out in Filbert's cave so that the new dryad mushroom tree can grow.
Yeah.
Super sketchy. I've got that, and I've got a tree. Right? Don't I also have a tree with spiders in it?
I believe you sent that up.
We did. We sent that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also to go in Fulbert's cave.
Yep. You sent that up with the piano and the other stuff from the Howlers or the whatever they Slackers.
Yeah.
Stalklers. Stacklers.
Stacklers.
That's what they were. The Stackler cave. You sent that upstairs to your friends. Let's see. And then you fought the purple worm hydra, which was brilliant and terrifying. And it was all the things that I wanted.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's all the things.
It was all the things
it was, in
I
fact,
wanted
all
to
the
be.
things.
So I was really happy with the way that went. All right. So you guys are within an hour of where Enganis should be by your closest reckoning. You've just camped. You're awake. It's the morning. Is there anything you'd like to do as you prepare to approach where this city should lie?
I would like to inspire the lads.
How?
That's I don't know, just stomping around, shouting about how I have a dryad in my lungs and it's freaking me out.
Our wounds accurate, or did we rest? I can't remember.
I'm going to give you a long rest. So.
Okay.
My wounds are accurate.
How do I want it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just gonna tell you all you're great, and then that's all you get.
He's gonna spend 10 minutes telling us we're great. You're great. You're great. And you're great. You're great too. You're great also.
You know how great you are? Great. Great.
You're double great.
Man, look at the complete lack of abilities on here.
I know, it's because I just dragged everybody in fresh, and so they haven't stacked up all of their stuff yet on me.
Oh, well, let me get to it.
I gotta do that again?
Seriously, I can't believe somebody hasn't created a mod to remove that visually. Like, I can't be the only DM that it drives bonkers. I just want nice, neat lines for everything in the combat tracker. Unless
you're not the only player that it drives bonkers.
Yeah,
I hate it so much.
Like when I want to see the whole combat tracker, but I have to remove Mav from it so I can see anything else.
Yeah,
it's just
make it wider.
So hard. Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to do the morning of? Obviously, inspiring words went off.
Oh, no, aside from that, I don't think I have anything that lasts all day to give anybody. Mav, are you gonna make sure we're not dead? I don't remember how you do that, but
Are you talking about Death Ward?
I have Death
that's
Ward.
the one.
By the way, I have an Underdark Explorer cloak that I think we got at like the beginning of the game that I might be putting on. It gives you
explore the Underdark.
Huh.
But it's in my effect under equipment, so we've had it for a while.
Huh. Yeah, that probably is early on. Early on, I was trying to give you guys magic items that bumped your stats rather than everything else. And then I forgot I was doing that and got lost into mid and upper tier gameplay. So that makes sense.
Cool.
I don't even know where that is, my equipment.
It's really funny. All right, well, as you guys break camp and you're shuffling around and getting your stuff ready to go, you begin to head out and you begin to trudge down the road. And you see ahead where Enganis must lie. There is, and you've seen them before in underground places, but this one is encompassing a huge portion of the Everdark Plains that you're on right now. It is basically a huge ground to ceiling rock column and pillar, except this one is probably about 15 miles across. Like, you come up over a rise, and so you can see the plains still flowing on the other side of it, but then there's this sucker too.
Huh. That's really big.
It's real big.
And that rise is about where we think Enganis is supposed to be?
It lines up with everything you learned and the few maps that you were able to recover. That should be it.
We have a lot of money in the party sheet.
Yeah.
That's all what you found in Enganis. Or not Enganis, in Brokeford.
On the way there.
Yep. Which Andy doesn't know that. Adam figured out that everything going on in Enganis with the names and everything else was some sort of like car word that was played off of or jumbled, or it's a city that used to make cars.
Oh, nice.
So it's the city of engines.
Yeah, the guy who was making all the statues, and he was the one who made. Can't remember what his name was. It was
Verkerb.
Yeah, it's Volkswagen.
Oh,
yeah, it's a similar phraseology to Volkswagen. So Adam's like, "Hey, is this?" And I mean, it became pretty clear after you figured out the dwarf's name was Pontiac Firebird, but
yeah.
But yes, that was.
Which map are we on?
You currently don't have a map. I don't have an underworld area map for this. So.
So I want to say last game. Is this the next day?
This would be waking up from the long rest after killing the purple worm, which is probably still laying on the ground not far from you.
Okay, so I used Wish during that fight. So we don't have
a Wish currently.
No, we do now. But we don't have Hero's Feast from last night.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to give it to us, that's up to you.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll give it to us.
Okay.
It's expensive, but
I mean,
it's well worth it.
I mean, like, the money in our party sheet will more than make up for it. Also, what's the 60 unidentified items?
I have no idea.
Awesome.
That's the silver piano wire that you ripped out of the piano.
Oh.
That's what that is. That's really funny. All right, so continuing on then, after having a Hero's Feast breakfast, are you doing that? I see it. Yep. Okay, Hero's Feast breakfast. In the shadow of the purple worm, you head on, and so you get closer to the city, and there is the heavy, musty smell of fungus that begins to fill your noses. And as you near this column, it becomes apparent why. There is a giant, like, canopy of a fungal force covering the entire area around the city. And that's up the column, and it's hanging off the ceiling. It's everywhere. Probably about a mile out from where it looks like the road enters the column. Is that familiar in the fact that it's fungus and mushrooms, but it doesn't quite look like any of the ones that you've encountered on this particular journey.
No, so how does your dryad feel about us lighting it on fire?
I don't think she's talked to me since I inhaled her, so...
She can't
if I remember
talk to
correctly,
you. She has to regrow before she can...
Yeah, if I remember correctly, she is not
Present.
related to that fungus, correct?
She said she was the last of her kind.
Right, yeah.
Because the green slime ate the rest.
Yeah.
Which they also encountered, Andy, was a mile-wide pond of green slime.
Nice.
Which went really well for us.
It went
I'm
better
sure
than it could have.
Yeah.
That's actually most of your adventures.
That's like the story of our adventuring career.
That went better than it could have.
Than it should have.
Yeah. So the fungus,
we're level 20,
familiar.
aren't we?
Yeah, you are level 20.
19.
So if you haven't leveled
right.
yet, you need to.
Oh,
Do that.
oh, whoops.
Well, that's exciting development.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it sounds like nobody's leveled, so why don't you all go ahead and do that?
Nope.
I'm going to go get some water, and I'll still be available for questions.
In that case...
I'm an extra paladin, extra paladin.
The health points are real.
Oh, don't forget to roll your hit points.
Extra
That's not for us. That's not
paladin.
for us. Never mind.
Wait a
Please
minute.
don't confuse
Wait a
me.
minute. Wait a minute.
Please don't confuse me anymore.
Sorry.
Please, sir. Please don't confuse me.
Look, man, it's not our fault you chose to play a multiple personality character.
Welcome
That's
to my
not even
world,
the
Ryan.
campaign where we're rolling hit dice.
That's not.
Or hit points.
Do I want to open my window? Yeah, it's hot.
Hard maintaining multiple personalities, isn't it?
Dude, it's so hard being multiple personalities.
I am going to cast Mind Blank on myself.
How dare.
Okay.
I now have access to 1/8 and 1/9 level spell a day.
Wait,
Kind of a big deal.
how are those related?
Because I couldn't cast that before because I didn't have 8th level spells. But now that I have, that's on my list of 8th level spells,
I get it.
I can
I
now
get it.
cast them once. I can also cast Wish.
I mean, if you just want to be me, you can just say it.
I'm just gonna stare at that and be like, I'm not listening to you anymore.
I also love how your character is like, I'm a 3/4 caster up until when I'm not.
Well, he still has a lot less spell slots, like, for everything else.
Yes, but he can also get spell slots whenever he wants.
That's true.
I'm gonna just throw a fireball at you. You're fine.
Not whenever he wants. You know, fighting a whole bunch of fighters is not helpful for him.
I
He just
suppose.
kind of looks at that with disdain, like, yeah, not me.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't worry, because he's got a belt of giant strength and a spear.
Yeah, that's very true for all the fighters. They can just kind of pokey.
To be fair, that's really nothing to do with Andy's current character and everything to do with Andy.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware.
Gabe was no different.
No, I'm aware. That is
Yes.
that is an
Don't
Andy.
worry, my next character is a martial character, so it's all pokey.
I don't
Mine's
know
not.
about that. I read your Unearthed Arcana character background. Your subclass. That's the word I'm looking for.
That's true. He has a little bit more
You got some tricks.
tricks.
Is that for the pirates?
Yeah. Because I get bored with just straight fighter. But I get bored with just straight magic.
You just get bored. I mean, it's okay to just say that.
Okay, we're not talking about you here.
I don't ever get bored. I am always amazed. I'm in a constant state of 100%
Play
amazement.
with me.
Awe
I
and
I mean,
wonder.
that's because I play with you and Tony. Two
Hey.
complete, utter opposite ends of the
very-
spectrum.
Wait. I don't know if
Not
I'm
bad. Bad was not a part of that.
Opposite.
Just opposite.
Very true.
feel like there's got to be a negative in there somewhere.
No, Andy is absolutely. How do I maximize my character's ability to obliterate everything in combat? Whereas
That's so much
Tony
fun to obliterate everything in combat.
Right. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. Whereas Tony is, I need to figure out a way to not have combat because that's more fun to me.
It's actually very true.
Look, the look he gave me was like, yes, that's correct.
But I don't like to admit it. It's correct.
It's not that I don't want to have combat.
I just like figuring out how to avoid it.
Tony is the epitome of the path of least resistance player.
Yeah.
Least risk.
Yeah.
No, least risk. Because there's a lot of resistance that he pushes himself through or creates to specifically avoid a 5-minute encounter.
Yeah.
That would be literally just 5 minutes with open.
Yeah.
Listen, I can't argue any of that, so I'm not going to.
We're oathing by himself.
Hi, buddy.
Let me know when you guys are ready.
Oh, I'm ready. Almost set.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think we're all ready.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got extra attack, and that's all I gained from that.
Yeah, I mean, level 20 was a 3-second thing.
It sounds like a huge letdown for all of your classes except maybe Andy.
No, I'm super excited about having.
I suppose extra attack for you is pretty sweet.
I was only going to go to 8th level spells for them, but because Jason had Wish on his Bastion when we put it in our other campaign, it was hard to... I guess I could have just put that one spell in there, but...
Yeah. All right. So...
Bastions get to
you guys are leveled up, and you're standing at the edge of the fungal forest surrounding Enganis.
I just wanted to point out that out of the 4 characters, 3 of us can cast Wish.
Mm-hmm.
I can't cast Wish.
You could.
No, I couldn't. It wasn't on my list.
Oh, you had a wish. You had a wish.
Oh, that's right.
Correct. Separate issue.
Yeah.
Separate wish you.
Yeah.
To be fair, I had a fish.
Yeah, you had a wish fish.
Wish fish.
And I wasted it.
No, I think you used it perfectly well, thank you.
I don't even remember what you wished for on that thing.
I wished to send a message to the one that was causing the whole issue that got us in the mirror.
Oh yeah, yep. No, that was a good use of it. It just there was other things happening that made it seem not as cool. But man, that was a good use.
It was still cool. I liked it. Yep.
So, what are you guys doing here?
Setting this fungus forest on fire.
Yeah, well, that could be a bad idea.
But it could be a really good idea.
I mean, it could.
We don't know until the fire starts.
Do we have any?
That seems like a high risk issue.
Andy, what was that?
Do we have any information about this fungus? Like, are we able to determine? Like, does it look similar to the other fungus we've encountered that has tried to put us to sleep or whatever else they are trying to do?
It's different than any fungus you've ever really pegged out, but it's also like just like it. They look like mushrooms and other stuff. There's nothing here that's like you're like, oh, that looks dangerous. They look like mushrooms and carpets of actual fungus and mold.
Okay,
so talking to it.
I am going to look at Jeff and tell him that he is our herald. He needs to go herald us to the mushrooms.
On it. I'm gonna use my ability to attempt to speak with the fungus, and if that doesn't work, I'll cast speak with plants.
In the fungus. And
nope, not going in it. Not going in it until I know it's safe.
I'll cast Death Ward on you.
I mean, deal. I will take that deal. Because you never cast it on me, and I want it. Don't make promises you're not going to back up.
I am backing up right now. Mav pulls out his hands and slaps Jeffrey with a Death Ward.
Into the fungus I go. Talking to my friends. Let's go.
All right, Jeff, so you wade into the fungus, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Hey, you have advantage.
It is at advantage.
I'm immune to something.
Psychic.
Fear.
No, poison.
Fear.
Poison and frightened.
Poisoned. Wisdom saving throw. Hiya! I did real good.
Jeffrey, you begin to hear.
I have a luck point.
You also have a Wargon.
I don't think that Wargon's going to help.
I don't.
probably
Yeah,
better
I'll spend a luck point. Screw it. That's not better.
Okay.
All right, 12.
You begin to hear in your mind the best way to describe it, even being a bard, and you're not the most musical bard, you're definitely a verbal speaker, but you're around music all the time and you know how to play instruments. It's just not your jam. You've never heard a sound like this before. It almost sounds like a cello being played underwater. And it just reverberates through your mind, and you are very much drawn towards the city right now. You are not compelled, but you really do want to go there now, more than you did before.
I will just turn around and smile and say, they're friendly. They mean us no harm. And I'm off to see the wizard, and I'll just start skipping through the fungus.
Oh, this is marvelous.
It was going really well until the wizard part.
Yeah. Well.
Oh. Yeah.
I'll should you guys stay here and I'll go get him? Okay, you guys stay here and I'll go get him.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, then
I will go get him.
make a Constitution saving throw. Or wisdom,
for me-
wisdom.
Is this if
Don't
I
go
can?
into
I
the long
don't have a problem
grass.
making it, and I will make one. However, I am immune to charm.
Then you do not need to make one. Although you do hear the violin music.
Okay.
You begin to hear it, but you are under no compulsion, but you do hear it. And it is soothing. It doesn't sound tense or even motivating. I'm trying to find
Would I recognize that it was trying to charm?
Probably not. You do believe that it is trying to communicate, though. But you're just not picking
Wait a
up what
minute,
it's
isn't
putting
this
down.
how the Dryad communicated with us?
The Dryad was indeed singing a song.
I'll go quick run after Jeff and ask him if he understood any, because I don't necessarily understand any. I'm not getting any necessarily message. I'm getting the music, but not any.
Nope. Jeff is the only one who's getting a sort of message from it, and that is a compelling urge, an invitation, really, to come to the city.
I can use my universal speech and try and communicate with them, but at the moment, they seem to just really want visitors. So
wait, so you didn't use your universal speech to communicate with them?
Didn't need to. They just went, "Hey, come visit," and I went, "All right." Seems like a good idea.
Before you go in there, Othig
All right.
needs your help real quick, so we have to go get him first.
I mean,
and then we're all
he's
gonna
right
come
there.
in.
I can see him.
Can he?
Are we too far away?
I
can
would
cast
say
a
you're
spell
probably
from here.
pretty deep in the fungus. You might not be able to see Othig. You probably can't. Which maybe
I will
he
still
does
say
need
that
your
I
help.
can. But
Just real
do I
quick, he
feel-
needs your
Yeah.
help to get in here.
Okay, I will attempt to go and acquire Othig.
Okay, so you guys head back Jeff, Othig doesn't look like he's in trouble, but
You lied to me, sir.
Are we out of the music range? Mike has turned into the weird neighbor who's like waving at people.
I'm waving at my
Oh,
wife.
that's
Sorry,
Oh,
she
okay.
just came home. And
Just
Matt's here
random
too.
people coming
So,
into
The weird neighbor that waves at his own wife.
I don't
Yeah.
really have neighbors yet. Anyways, no, the music has not stopped. You can still hear it.
Othig, what do you need?
Even though we are out of the
Ale.
Out of the forest, yes.
You have the alchemy jug.
Huh? No, I don't.
Oh. Well, I don't have it.
I mean, if I had it, I'd be drinking out of it all the time.
That's why I'm confused as to why you don't have it.
Because otherwise I'd be drinking out of it all the time.
I'm not
True.
seeing a downside.
That's super funny.
Never get anything killed.
I mean, except, you.
So I am
Alcohol's not going to kill Othig.
no. I mean, if it was going to, it would have already.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I am somewhat concerned about the whole thing.
Why?
When the dryad spoke, did we all understand, or was it just Jeff?
I
don't
don't remember
remember.
the circumstances of that, but I believe you all allowed yourselves to be able to speak to her. At first, it was just Jeff, and she asked him.
Yeah.
I don't remember how that went down, but I do remember it was a willing communication.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I could try and loose my own spores and communicate back if you want.
I don't know. I'm
I'll give it a
concerned
try.
about.
I'm going to use my universal speech, and I'm just going to let her rip
Mm-hmm.
and see if I can talk to the mushrooms.
Okay, so you reach out with your universal speech, and you get back a very weird sensation. There is communication there, but it's extremely broken. And not broken like it doesn't know how to speak its language, but broken like you're only picking up every other word.
We're too far away. I need to get closer for the radio signal to pick up.
Not too far.
We're like the little beholder. I can only be so far away before I can't send things to Randy. It's like that. Randy said, "Don't go plane hopping, or I wouldn't be able to take video." No,
I totally forgot you had one of those things with you.
gotta get closer.
Well, what do we think?
I think I gotta get closer.
know
Well, we
what
can
you
definitely
think.
do it.
What?
We can definitely try it.
No.
What's the worst that happens?
I mean, I can't die right now, so at least there's that.
No, you can.
I mean, not right away. What good is this death ward if I actually die? Come on.
I've laughed.
I mean, fair.
All right, so are we heading
All right, I
to-
guess.
All right, I need wisdom saving throws from
Just
Othig
Othig.
and Mav.
He's got mind blank on.
I do have my cod.
Whoa, why is that a...
That's the same
I mean,
thing that I have
like-
on.
I still
is that
think
an
you.
advantage?
Okay.
Any effect that would sense its
If you, which is fine.
Heroes Feast. Heroes Feast.
Oh, Heroes Feast. Yes,
Yep.
of course.
Yep. So, Mav, you begin to hear the music too. If you're immune to charm because of mind blank, then you do not need to do this. You all begin to hear the music as you approach the city. Jeff is the only one who is under compulsion to go, though. Got real close for Othig there, but
Wow, okay.
This is gonna be awesome. Let's
But he-
go say hi to some mushroom folks.
he pulled it out. You
Bet
head
he
down
did.
the road, and there still is some semblance of a road heading towards the gates of the city. But when you get to where about you'd expect there to be gates, you don't find gates. What you find is a giant fuzzy membrane that is flexing in and out, almost like it's breathing.
Tony.
Like a sphincter.
No, it's not like a sphincter.
A hairy? No.
Well, some of them, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but not the ones. I mean, not that. I don't want any of them.
It's really the area around, but this is more like a shag carpet that it's just fuzzy, and it's pulsing in and out. It almost like you're looking at the side of a balloon. It's got some curvature to it. It's covering the entire entry tunnel to the city.
Yeah. I'm going to walk up to it like I belong there.
Okay. Jeff, the mycelia, as you get closer to it, you realize this is a giant sheet of mold.
Yeah.
And
I'll just be like, hello, friend.
The mycelia begins to reach out for you in the area, and there's this whispering sound. But it's not like communication whispering, it's more like leaves rustling, but it's the mold making rustling sounds.
Hello, new friend. I welcome your embrace.
You watch as the mold that has woven itself together begins to unweave right where you're at.
Oh.
And you hear little popping sounds as they disconnect, like it's actually ripping as it opens up a aperture, I suppose, for you to pass through.
Well,
Okay.
I'll just turn around and like look at the guys like, well, door's open. Let's play ball.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is how we die.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just back up through the opening.
Okay.
Watch it, like making eye contact with Thanak as I just slowly back up into the mycelium.
You
will.
You Homer slide into the mold.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I am going to very quickly grab my sending stone to Mare Lee and just say, if you
I
don't
love
hear
you.
from us, don't send anybody after us.
Hey, tell her I think she's pretty cute. As I disappear into the mycelia.
Ooh, he really wants you to follow him.
Yeah.
You get a very typical Marilee response back. She's like, I wouldn't.
Okay.
With a snicker, and then you hear your daughter crying in the background.
Yeah.
And you
Me
slip
too.
through the mold. Othig, Mav, into the mold.
Into the mold we go.
Yeah.
So you guys
Moldly going where no man has gone before.
moldly going. You slip into the mold. Jeff, how long does
Moldly
universal
growing.
speech last?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's like 10 minutes, isn't it?
So,
I remember you
depending on how
saying
long it
10
took us
minutes,
to
but-
walk up here. Yeah, it's like 10 minutes. Let's see. 10 minutes.
Okay. So you walk into what is the entryway to the city, and it is wall-to-wall mold. Some of it is glowing. There is ambient light that is being cast out here, and you are at the top of like a balcony perch type entry area. It opens up, and you can see out over the entirety of the city, and it looks a little something like this.
Map. If we're past 10 minutes and we're getting into this space, I want to talk to whoever I'm by. So if I need to, I will use another casting of it.
Okay. So you guys are out still a little bit this way, but you're above that road, and there is a spiral staircase that leads down to it from up above where you are. You're about 100 feet above the city, kind of looking out over the cavern right now.
Oh,
It
cool.
is obviously an entryway and a perch that was built to give visitors or people coming and going this view.
Sure.
And the entire city is covered in various kinds of fungus. It is everywhere.
Hey guys, check it out. I'm a fun guy.
No.
No.
So you and you definitely know you're in the right place because this is exactly the layout of the pop-up map that Thanak found.
Yeah.
This is it. You're in Enganis. So you're looking.
Where
Go ahead.
in the the pop-up map was what were the like the specific places that were named on there? There was
There was all sorts of them. Basically, it was like looking through the yellow pages.
Oh,
So
okay. It wasn't just
I
like
listed
4 or
off
5
a
of them.
few
It was-
just for flavor's sake, but it wasn't super specific. The few
This,
that
this
you
is a
would know,
directory for kind of everybody.
yes, that this was right over here. It was basically their ruling palace and
Okay.
their noble ward over here. There's a university that was over here and all sorts of stuff like that. Down over here was the main crafters guild, and a lot of shops and stuff like that were down over here as well.
Oddly enough, there were 7 buildings in the crafting area.
Huh.
So, heading down, Jeff, you said you wanted to try and talk to it again?
Yeah, if it's been longer than 10 minutes, I will use another bardic inspiration.
Yeah, it probably has, so I think it'd be safe to. So overlooking the city, and I'm super glad you decided to do this here. You reignite your inspiration and your universal speech, and you continue to hear the music, but it's no longer broken. But it's not broken by another sound. It's broken by a light show that combines with the sound. You watch as the fungus all over the city begin to pulse rhythmically with the cello sound that's in your minds. And between your universal speech, the pulsing of the light, and the sound, you begin to put together language.
Huh.
And
All right.
it introduces itself as the All.
All glory to Hypnotoad. Let's go. All right. Hello, all.
And it says that it is a pleasure to meet you. It has been long since any visitors have come his way.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of off-putting having a fungal forest that makes you trip balls before you even get there. So I'm surprised we came.
When it said pleasure to meet you, was it MEET or MEAT?
You're not really sure. It's really hard to pick up on the syntax of light.
Yeah.
Pleasure to eat you and
just stumbled with the phraseology a little bit.
It's all right. I do that sometimes too. Fish are friends, not food.
Mm-hmm.
Am I able to communicate back? Do I need to like flash it a bunch or like start dancing?
You're pretty sure it can read your thoughts.
Oh, that's good. I like that. So I'm just gonna introduce, and I will herald the granite backs as fleshy friends from the surface that have heard long whispered tales of this place and the dwarfs that once conquered it or something.
Make a performance check.
All right. If I pull down my pants, can I have advantage?
You get a disadvantage.
He's doing a flashy light show, so I figured if I flashed him, it would help.
Oh,
but that'll be a natural 20. So
that's awesome. So roll your 10.
I think that's the first time he's ever heralded us.
Yeah, for real.
Listen, as long as I shut up and I just wiggle my fungus at people, my heraldry goes really well. All right.
Your mycelia.
I wiggle my mycelia in the general direction of.
You need to take it. You need to wash properly.
Hey, listen, we've been underground a really long time.
Yes, but you're the only one with fungus.
We haven't
I've got
really
athlete's
been underground that long.
I mean, we've been underground for a couple weeks, but
no,
still, like, he's over here, like, inviting fungus into him at any chance he gets.
I can only bathe in the moonlight, and there's no moon down here. Okay.
So the All responds that it is very familiar with your kind.
My kind? I'm like
what do you
an
mean?
ex-angel.
And then it says very uncomfortably, you taste like the others.
Wait. What? And I'm just gonna like look at my hands and just like lick my palm. What? What?
No.
All right. Thanet, come here.
No. What?
I need to know if the fungus is telling the truth or not, and my insight is not helping. Lick
No.
my hand.
No. No.
Then I need to lick yours. It's one or the
No.
other.
No. Last time you were all like weird about hands, you had a face on it.
You drew a face
Oh.
on somebody too.
That's true. I'll just be like, okay, fine. And then I'll just ask my sword what it thinks I should do.
He doesn't respond.
See, he doesn't. No one's helping me. I'm all alone in this
That's because,
fungus
I mean,
forest.
by this time in your life and career, you should be able to make your own decisions.
I am making my own decisions. You just won't let me.
I am making the decision to let you tell me what to do.
Did you just mean that in game or not?
I mean, sure.
I'm gonna ask the us where we should go to meet with it. It's why'd you draw me here?
I did not.
Oh, well,
came.
someone did.
You
No.
came.
Definitely compelled to be here. Like,
did-
I know
you
how compulsion works.
You did not
I'm
want to
compelled
come
to do
to
a lot
the
of
city then?
Well, of course I wanted to come to the city, but then I walked in the fungus,
We
and
just
then
don't want
I
to feel
really,
invited.
really wanted to come to the city.
Well, of
Are you the
course.
only fungus here?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure, because if there was something else interfering with your bat signal...
Is this all like... Where's this conversation happening?
In Jeff's head. You guys can
Out
still
loud.
hear the music, and you can still hear, and you can
Yeah.
see the lights, but it doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah.
Jeff is trying to talk out loud, but he's probably just wiggling his pelvis. Like Elvis.
You don't
One
talk
of these
with
days,
that.
Tony, I'm going to recut it off.
Yeah, probably. I figured out how to use it, and now I just use it wrong.
Then you didn't figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hear
so
that.
it asks you to come to the palace.
All right, on it. I will lead them there. And I'll turn to the guys and be like, so the us, them, they, the fungus wants to speak to us. But
Fungus
the-
among us. Hey, ask it what kind of fungus it is.
Oh, that's a good question. Hey, what are you?
I am the all.
It is an all fungus? Well, it's like allspice, I think.
It's the all
Oh
fungus.
my
It's
God.
like, oh, Spike.
Why do you even bother asking him any questions ever?
See what I mean?
Just stop. Just stop. I'm
Hey.
getting nowhere.
I
Bad.
try really hard to answer the questions as I'm asked them, okay? I'm not
Yeah,
trying to be
that's the
difficult. I was
problem.
born this way.
That is the problem.
So, at the very least, I will be. I mean, I assume everybody is, but I will verbally say it to the DM that I will be treading cautiously.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I'm going to ask it how many others have come here.
Thousands.
As we're walking towards the palace.
Jeff's still the only one that can actually communicate with it and hear
Yeah.
it.
We can all hear
So-
it, but it doesn't make any sense to us.
We have Rary's telepathic bond, so I guess I could try
yeah.
and transmit as best as possible, but I don't.
I think that would be
I
fair.
don't know.
That
Yeah.
you would be able to send out. They wouldn't hear the all, but they would hear you interpreting the all.
Yep. And I'll give it a voice, so it sounds different than me while I'm talking to myself in my head.
I
Basically,
can't for the life of me
together.
remember. I can't for the life of me remember why we wanted to come here.
Because you just wanted to find it.
Yeah.
That was it. There
That's
wasn't
it.
like
That
it
was
was,
the
it was the
whole
lost.
thing.
there wasn't
It
an
was the lost
agenda.
civilization.
There's no agenda other than finding this place.
Mission accomplished. We can get out of here now.
Yeah.
No, well, so we had our weird little fever dream when we got drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
And-
we've had breadcrumbs about
Right.
this place for a
For a
long
while.
time. We just never we never had the time
Yep.
to focus on specifically just coming to look for this place, because every time everything that we were doing was on a clock.
Way more important.
I was trying to
Yeah.
find. I thought there was a vision one time that I had, or a dream or something that about this place, but now I'm not sure if it's this place or if that was something like completely unrelated to like other plot threads. I'm just
There
like,
was
so
no. There was a time where you guys drank the oatmeal beer,
Yep.
Mhm.
and you had a dwarf memory dream, like dwarves do when they drink, except it was so powerful that it basically astrally projected you back in time, and you
Yeah.
saw people from this city.
And they
And-
saw
yeah, but
us.
did we know? Did
And
we
they
know
did
it was
see
back
you.
in time then?
Not right away. You'd figured that out later. That
We
you
figured it out. Okay.
Yep. And your presence, and this is something we didn't get into, and I can't believe I forgot to do it. Portiac would have told you that your urban legends in the culture,
Oh.
Mhm.
like your,
He did bring that up.
did he?
Did he?
I couldn't remember
Yep.
if I did that or
I
not.
I remember specifically asking about it.
You're the reason they set out on their final pilgrimage once their resources ran out.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I do remember
they
that. Yeah.
they knew there were other good dwarves out there,
Yeah.
and they set out to find them.
So we would be known by the all then as well.
Not necessarily.
Maybe.
Depends
No,
on when they all
Only
showed
if
up.
They were here at the time, yeah.
Those people that scene took place like on the outskirts of like this city though, correct?
Sure, but the all may have showed up after.
The city fell.
like,
Or maybe
remember-
it's the thing that made the city fall.
Okay,
Well,
so
no-
the two aren't necessarily related.
Correct.
They're not.
Right.
We know. We don't necessarily know what a meltdown is, but we know that the city there was a nuclear meltdown.
Okay. Last thing. Sorry,
Yep.
I realize this is all like very probably seeming like it's very like just like separate thoughts, but it's not. Tony, can you ask the all if there's anyone living in the city?
Absolutely.
It would respond that everyone is living in this city.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Yeah.
probably not
I want to
the
qualify.
answer.
Yeah, I'm trying to qualify that, like, because you know,
Like
obviously
us.
we have that. I just want to communicate to it. Like, I want Tony to communicate to it, like that vision that we had, that we know, like somehow came to pass, and like if those residents or descendants of those residents are still in this city, like what. Yeah, I want to understand like what has actually become of the city, because like we're walking around in the city. Are there any inhabitants?
You're not in the city proper yet. You're
We're not.
overlooking the city. You'll
Okay.
have to take the spiral road down to this north passage here.
Okay, so
But does it look like there's any
does,
life?
Shoot, sorry. Does Jeff get the impression that implied that there's actual inhabitants there, or that meant something like different?
It definitely sounded mysterious and elusive.
Okay,
But
purposefully?
it didn't. It's really hard to tell with the way this thing's language is interpreted if it was intentionally being that way or if that's just the way it understands things.
It's trying to be facetious, or
Yeah, you don't know if it's what it is. And I think Thanak was just about to ask if you see anything living in the city. You don't
Yeah.
see anything other than fungus down there. So there aren't people walking around in the streets if that's what you're looking
There's
for.
no. Otherwise,
there
there's
were-
no sign of
were
life.
people at some point in
Sign
time.
of
All
life.
right, so I guess
Correct.
let's just continue on our way, and we'll maybe try to put this together once we get down there.
I kind of, as we're walking, I kind of get the impression that whatever this all thing is, that it specifically with the way that it said that everyone is alive, is that it
We all float down here.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what fungus is. You know what I mean? Fungus is not a
It's dead
foreign
things.
concept to us.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It consumes and adapts, and for
yeah,
lack
I
of a
mean,
better term, hive minds itself into things.
yeah,
And there are parasitic funguses. There are all kinds of things. I mean, I technically have a fungus living inside me right now. So
yeah.
Yeah, do we want to be added to this collection though?
No.
Okay,
no, not
so
specifically.
do we really want to
pneumonia.
continue?
Well, I mean, the other side of it is that this is the dwarven ancestral home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of have a duty to
So-
if it's bad, purge
Okay,
it.
so I guess this is the point that I'm trying to make, because
No offense, fungus man.
like what do you want to keep trying to find out what's going on down here, or are we already progressing with like a mission? Like that was my point.
The answer to that is yes.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not necessarily sure if this thing is hostile. I mean, because like from what we know, there was a catastrophic event that happened. The
Hey,
fungus
what's your
could have
name?
just. Didn't he say the all?
He's the all.
I'm going to ask him directly what his name is.
It doesn't have a name.
Okay.
It responded the all because that's what it is. In its own mind, it's all of it. It's the whole thing.
See, I'm really getting this vibe that Mike read the article about the fungus that's growing on the reactor in Chernobyl, and that's what this is.
I did
I mean-
not.
Yeah, there's there's a fungus that's consuming the reactor core in Chernobyl.
It's funny because
Oh.
I didn't read too much of that article, but
Man,
Life finds a way.
yeah, but
I-
that was
Bro, yeah.
did
but that
not
was-
hear about this.
that was- more or less what I was thinking. Like, is
So-
this just a reaction of the meltdown, or is this something that came in after the meltdown? Is
I think
this
our
something
time gap in playing has muddled a little bit of your thoughts in the timeline of Enganis. There was the city of Enganis that functioned basically as a post-catastrophe cataclysm bunker city. Basically
Oh, that's
a
right.
fallout shelter. The meltdown caused them to lose all of their technology and data because they
That's
lost their
right.
power. So
Yeah.
they rebuilt
And they
their
reverted.
society to
Yeah.
a more medieval style of living, even though it's still
Yeah.
heavily influenced by what they had in the past. And
Yeah.
so when you guys went back in the past, you visited the rebuild. Not
the rebuilt, not the
not
the original.
meltdown city. So the all would be very disconnected from the rebuild. Portiac would have told you the thousands of years of history that they had in this phase of their life before they left. So there is no
Right.
hint of this
Right.
fungus when they left on their pilgrimage to find a new home.
Yeah.
They abandoned the city.
Yep, they did, because the area was void of resources.
Seems to be teeming with life now.
Actually, that's a good question. Is there even before we got into the city with all the fungus, did it look barren, or did it look like
At this point, it
didn't.
looked thriving. Like, there was plants and fungus and stuff that was foreign to you guys, and creatures that were very foreign, but there was a thriving underground ecosystem in the plains.
Yeah, okay.
It's almost
I mean,
as
some of
if
it was
when,
weird, but it was there.
yeah, it's almost like if the sentient life goes away, everything else seems to thrive more.
Yep.
We are the pandemic.
It did. There was an obvious recovery, at least of those kinds of natural resources. You have no idea what's in the ground or isn't anymore
Sure.
because of this city.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hydra was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so yeah, I mean, But anyways, like I was saying, is that I'm not necessarily. I haven't made a decision on whether this thing is malevolent or not. I don't think we have enough information. We don't have, like, because again, we don't know where this thing showed up in relation to
The city.
the city. This could have shown up after the city was abandoned.
Yeah.
Or they could have abandoned it partially because of this thing. But,
Maybe.
yeah, so I'm not necessarily on board with we need to eradicate this thing yet.
No, I don't see why we'd need to. He seems
I think
great.
with your conversations with Portiac, because you know he was a contemporary of the time of the pilgrimage, the Illithid invasion just happened like right at the same time, and was far enough away that, and Janice never found out what happened to them, that there would be no hints of this thing being here.
Okay.
At that point in time, so it almost certainly came in or found its way here when the city was empty.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't. So we don't know if this thing is malevolent or not. Is really what it comes down to.
Well, let's get down there and start checking stuff out and be careful.
Definitely. Again, while we're walking, I'm going to ask him his opinion on Illithid liches.
It doesn't have a frame of context for that.
Well, I'll fill him in.
And it says it to you very creepily. It says it has no recollection of their taste.
Mm. So do you lick everyone you meet? Because I knew a dog once that did that.
Just one dog?
I mean, my dog.
You have multiple.
Okay, so you ask it if it licks everyone you meet, and it, for the first time in your conversation, it feels the music sounds confused, like it's discordant. It hits notes that you just don't quite connect.
I made the
with.
record scratch.
And then it changes what it says. It doesn't say tastes anymore. It says feels.
Okay. Yeah.
So but it has no context for Illithid.
Yeah, they're like a brain-eating squid face race. They're pretty rude for the most part. They're not all bad though. We got a ship made out of one. He seems pretty alright.
Made out of one?
Sort of.
Like, we didn't have a ship made out of one. We just found one that was already one.
How do you get yourself into situations of the voice of the granite back? That's what I want to know. Like that's my most concerning question right in this moment.
Is what?
Because you let me.
Oh, how Jeff became the voice.
Oh, you just barreled in here.
Hey, I was invited. Thank you.
And to be fair, he didn't really barrel in. You all kind of went, let's send Jeff. I'll even put Death Ward on him.
I just want to be on record that at no point in time did I agree to that.
Is that Ryan or Oath?
Disagree. That's the issue.
Just thank you for highlighting that, but I also didn't agree.
So you guys make it down into the city proper. You go past the two guard towers there, and you're in this square here, and you need to make perception checks.
Oh man! Now we're starting. Now it's
D&D time.
I can't wait to see this roll. Oh man!
Oh really?
Yep, there it is.
There it is. We have started.
It's always
never failed.
So terrible. Like seriously,
did mine not count?
9 out of 10 perception rolls for you at the start of the game are just terrible.
I swear this game knows that Oathing is rolling perception.
Jeff, you're really the only one who sees it, and you don't really care. You see there is movement under the caps of the mushrooms nearby.
Hello, new friends.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Everybody else hears Jeff say hello, new friends, whether that be in his brain or whatnot. And
I'll just look over to the direction that he was saying that at.
All right. Let me show you this then. A little bit zoomed up. So the buildings in this area are super cool. They're stone because they rebuilt everything out of stone, but everything's made to look like it's metal. Or it's patterned with gear symbols and stuff like that. And there are these huge clusters of mushrooms, and the one is this one you guys see right here. And there are, huddled around the stems of these mushrooms, now that Jeff has drawn attention to them, multiple humanoid figures moving around. But they're too blended in with the other fungus and plants that are growing down here to really identify them, other than the fact that you're pretty sure they're fungus people.
It wanted us to come to the what place?
The
Here?
palace.
The palace. Maybe we just ask it like. Maybe we just ask it like. Are we safe here? Are you gonna? What are your intentions for
Jeff,
us?
do you want to ask it if it's safe here?
Maybe we just.
I'll ask it.
Maybe we just ask
Yeah,
it.
we'll take it as a question. I'll pass along the question.
I like the what is your intentions?
Okay. So you got these two questions for him, and you ask, are we safe here? And Jeff, you hear, you will always be safe here.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll always be safe here.
no.
I think.
And then you ask what its intentions are, and it just says to live, to expand,
All right.
to be.
Yeah, I haven't heard the word consume, so I think we're okay.
Yeah. Can you ask if we're free to leave this place?
Yeah, I was gonna be.
Yeah.
Why would you want to leave?
You know, to go
I mean,
look for others.
If we need to go to the store,
I mean,
Unless Mike has like DM'd you that you are to act like this because of some failed roll that you
No,
have.
this
I'm
is
about
just
to
how
slap
he
you over the
is.
head in game.
I rolled a 10, Ryan. I rolled a 10. That was my wisdom save. I am compelled to be
This
here.
is just Tony.
Tony's definitely leaning into it, but this is about how Jeff would actually be acting. Where he's
Yeah.
not forcibly resisting, but he just doesn't understand why you wouldn't want to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have any.
I've learned
yet.
how to do the compulsion thing over the
Okay,
years.
that's
so
fine. That's fine. Did we ask Andy's question? Because I do feel.
I will. I
Are
will.
you
I will
free to
ask
leave?
all of the questions.
It says, of course, you are free to leave. Why would you want to?
That's what I said.
Well, we'll discuss that later, but we might want to go back to our own home.
So you guys do notice that the creatures under the mushrooms are now shambling towards you.
Ooh, shambling.
I'm going to cast Beriner's Blessing. I'll just put that on me. It's what's that called?
Armor of Agathis?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So you
Oh
cast that.
no, I'm not. It's hard. I've just realized that was. Wait, what? How much of this is temporary health, and how much of this is, food?
24 is temporary health.
And I know, but how much of it is from
All
That's
of
your
that's
max
from
hit
me.
point. Hero's Feast does max hit points.
Right? That's what
24
I'm
is
saying.
from me.
Right.
So the 24 is from you. How much is
Yep.
from the feast?
What do you
Nothing.
mean? You've only got 24.
Increases our max HP.
I know, but you didn't roll it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, but it would be whatever we normally do.
So we
could
just
do
do
the
half then?
average.
We just do it.
I think we already did.
We did. We did the average. And the average was on you guys already. That's
Yeah.
right. We decided this.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Because you were almost always you were almost always going to have Hero's Feast active.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because somebody was going to wish it into existence if,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
So,
Okay.
it was available.
Okay.
all right. So, no Beriner's Blessing?
No, I'll keep that off for now. I just realized that
Okay.
it's of the temporary health. I've already got it on.
So, you guys begin to hear noises coming from underneath there. And it starts out as moaning, but then begins to sound like ancient Dwarven. Now, you're all very familiar now with the accent of Portiac and all of the nuances of ancient Enganis Dwarven, except these sound almost like somebody's trying to speak it while gargling water.
Huh.
Bubbles. It's a Babiloplop.
Not quite. And you hear that one of them, and it's coming from these creatures, and they say in unison, and it's really hard to suss out, but you're smart enough, you'll get it. I know Andy would just, or somebody would just comprehend languages or something. It would happen. You guys would figure this out. The all is trying to verbally communicate with those who are not listening to his song. And it says, "We feel your apprehension. Should we show you how we came to be?"
Sounds pretty great.
Oh, we all hear that?
Hospitality.
Yes.
So these creatures begin to pour out from underneath the mushroom stalks. Now, you'd been watching the ones here, but they come out from all over the place. And they're about dwarf size. Now, I don't think you guys ever saw any myconids in the Underdark, but you were told about them, about mushroom people. But myconids are basically a singular stalk mushroom. These look like a corpse that has been covered in millions of different mushrooms.
I'm afraid of.
They're just coming out everywhere. Some of them, their arms have grown into their bodies in other places, but they're roughly dwarf shape. And you do, even through some of it, see dwarven equipment still on them after all these years. Silvered helms and things like that still on these beings. And so it doesn't take you long to realize that these are dwarves from Enganis, ? Because you thought they all left. And they start to do a pantomime out in the streets. And it shows that they march, and then they march slower, and then some of them lay down while others crawl forward. And a handful of them crawl forward and get to some place and begin to eat something. And then all of a sudden, the ones that got to the place are invigorated. And then they go back to the mushrooms and meld into the stalks.
Oh, what? What?
So they ate something to become basically mushroom people.
Yeah.
You used to be the people here. You're the collective, minds of all of the people here.
We are.
That's pretty cool.
And it says that it's the first time it realized that.
You're not just one person. You really are everybody. You are all of the people that lived here.
I am those who returned?
Hey, they are a dwarf.
They are a dwarf.
They're their own clan, just, as mushrooms. Like the Graniteback clan, except they're the All clan. They're the Enganis All clan? I don't know. I don't actually understand. I'm just kind of winging it here.
Yeah.
All our base belong to them.
Yeah.
All Enganises belong to them, yeah.
That's what I said.
Well, that's weird. We could, and I know I suggest this all the time, but I actually mean it this time. We could drink with them. And maybe we'd have a better understanding of what the heck happened here. If they're dwarves, they can share.
I mean, I feel like we could just ask at this point, did it come
true.
Did it come to inhabit this place, seeing the fallout? I'm assuming, based on what we know walking into this place from what's his name said, that this might be a situation where there was some fallout and it found these dwarves dead already and just incidentally consumed them as it normally would. with everything else. But I'm just assuming that. So I think we should ask to see if that's accurate. So I feel like it would know. Like if it just came happenstance upon like some devastation that was already here.
Right. Well, he just said they're the ones that came back. So the ones that abandoned their quest to find elsewhere.
Right, but was it already here or not?
Gotcha.
Like,
Or did they bring it back?
What was the context of like it coming to, basically have,
Right.
them in its collection? Like its expansion. Like how did it come to be?
Jeff, and I suppose everybody else, because you're going to have to decide whether you allow Jeff to do this or not, because I know what Jeff's going to say because he rolled a 10. One of the mushroom people peels off of the stalk again, and it approaches Jeff with an upside down mushroom cap that has some really gooey looking blue liquid in it. And it offers it to Jeff with a drinking motion. And Jeff, you hear the all in your brain say, it does not know how to better describe the tale for you unless you see it for yourself.
Seems fair.
If I cast Detect Poison and Disease, would that cover that kind of... Would that cover, like...
It covers a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
you'll
what
probably
I
have to cast it to see if you noticed anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with doing that. It'll take 10 minutes.
Okay. I would ask Jeff to hold off.
Yeah, I mean, if you
I don't
guys,
hate that.
if you, yeah, he seems forthright. I mean, patient. So I'm willing to wait if you are.
Okay. So it doesn't seem to mind one way or the other. Then you cast that, and Detect Poison and Disease works a lot like Detect Magic, as far as like the schools and the variations of it. Like you can tell the difference when you cast it between seeing somebody infected with the common cold and somebody who's infected with leprosy. Just in the glow of the disease that's there. This whole place on many levels rings of disease. But that's just because, as we talked about before, out of character, fungus has a lot of different
disease-like qualities. Yeah,
it just does. It's got others that are very beneficial, but it's got a lot of disease-like qualities to it. But for the purposes of what you're trying to achieve, it does not seem like the liquid is any more dangerous than alcohol.
I've already got in me.
I will. Jeez. I'm stressed out about you turning into a. Well,
Level 20 bard that is also a...
I mean, as a note, you guys have people in your party that can fix my brain at the moment. If anyone actually wanted to end the compulsion, you have spells that do so. Uncle Lester, for instance, or his
yeah, but
moonshine.
again, they haven't done anything outrightly harmful, so it's not like...
No, but you do know that Jeff is not necessarily always this
yes, he is
willing to do as other people tell him to do.
100%, Jeff is a walking chaos ex machina.
Yes, but I also usually don't do exactly what people tell me to do.
I guess, Thanik, if you're able to cast Lesser Restoration,
I'm not.
I would want to...
I mean, I could use a wish for it, but...
That's about all I could do.
Seems like a waste. Am I the only one with Lesser Restoration?
Oh, I have
think
Greater
so.
Restoration. I am going to cast Greater Restoration on him.
Okay.
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to wait until he drinks that and turns into a mushroom person?
Yeah.
No, I am doing that now because I want him to have the option of saying no.
I think he still has the option of saying no, though.
I don't think he does.
I mean, but why would he?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The option of saying no and the desire to say no are a little different.
Okay, hear me out. This is gonna sound total. I kind of want him to.
There's my
Only
boy.
because I feel like, I mean, like with everything that we've heard so far, I'm not inclined to think like this is super dangerous. But at the same time, like if it is super dangerous, I'd rather have restoration after the fact.
I could cast it again.
How much does that cost again?
100 gold worth of components.
It's not a specific component. It's gold.
Diamond dust, but we've typically done component costed. Yeah.
Okay.
There currently is no problem in getting that kind of resource in the world.
All right.
So,
Bottoms
Jeff, are you gonna hit him with it twice?
I will hit him with it once to get him out of it.
Okay.
And if he drinks it and I need to, I will use it again.
Cool.
Wait. Alternatively, I could just drink it then.
True. I suppose. Do you want to drink it?
It's alcohol, man. Of course he does.
It's not alcohol.
It's Danik would tell you it looks the exact same as alcohol when he casts detect disease or detect poisons.
It might have the same effect as alcohol, but I don't know what that stuff tastes like.
I mean, we have the oatmeal ale. Come on, man. That stuff wasn't ale.
That's true. We did eat that.
I don't. Whatever.
We did eat a bottle of ale.
Whatever the most dwarven way to say to Thanak and Mav that they're gonna do right by me if this goes south, right? And then I'm gonna.
Obviously, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'll drink it.
Right.
Alright,
If anyone's gonna experiment with the alcohol, it's Othig.
Othig, you expect to taste something nasty, but it's not. It tastes
But
like it tastes like the honey glaze they put on roasted boar.
No, that's if he says that out loud, immediately restoration on him because that's wrong. It's not correct.
It does have an earthy, like mushroomy background to it, but it's not foul. It's good. It tastes really good. And you drink it, and you immediately begin tripping balls.
This is something Filbert would have made.
You
Kind of
watch.
figured at least that part.
You watch as the spores that are they're everywhere in the air here. It's just a given. They begin to swirl around in front of you and make shapes. And these shapes are dwarven people. And they carry out a very similar procedure to the pantomime that the creatures carried out, but there's more clarity to it. And then you hear the music in the background actually form dwarven words. And the spectral forms of the dwarves, they're arguing about how much longer they can go on and how they're out of supplies and there's nothing left to eat. And the one dwarf who seems to be in charge says that we go on till the end, and if I die home. And you watch them march on for a while, and when they get to Enganis, they find a patch of mushrooms. And they consume them. And that's when the all comes into sentience.
Through the sheer desperation of dying dwarves.
Whoa.
And from there, they don't realize what's happening to them over the next few days, but they do begin their transformation fairly quickly, and it is highly contagious.
I'm sick.
How do they pass it on?
By breathing, from what it looks like. And Othig would watch this as they're standing next to each other, like different colored spores would flow in and out of their facial area, and it's definitely and be pulled in by the others. But most of them,
I mean, like, do I see that in the air?
No one else sees this.
No,
Just
I mean, do
open.
I with the detect poison and disease? Do I see
Spores in the air.
airborne
Yeah.
spores?
Yeah, I mean, you guys would see
Yeah.
that with the plane, with your plain waking eyes. They're everywhere. This place is loaded with it. You're in a mushroom forest. I kind of thought that was a given.
I guess, but yeah.
We sent one of these guys home to our home place.
That guy had not been here.
He hadn't been here.
Portiac.
He had been here,
The maker.
but not as a.
Yep.
Not
He
when it
was
like
he was
this.
never here once it was infected. The infection happened years after their final pilgrimage, and a bunch of them decided to come back.
Huh.
And then like the spores take shape, and it asks if you understand now.
Yeah, I would say I do.
Okay, you agree to that question, and the crazy visions end.
I see
See what
my
I
friends,
mean, Othig?
Yep.
my family.
Yep.
Like, why would we want to leave? This place is everything that those people needed to survive and live.
So Othig turns around and starts to tell you everything that he says he saw. For you guys, he had just finished drinking the fluid.
Oh,
So it was no
And
time at
Othig,
all.
you could have swore you were there for like an hour watching all this.
Wow.
Jeff, could you ask if the all would like is trying to have us join it?
I mean, I think it wouldn't mind us, but I don't think it needs us to.
Hang on. I think, like, I'm not sure how specific the question needs to be in this situation, because I feel like
Yeah.
maybe it needs to be, but like, will what I saw happen to us in time, like, if we just stay here?
That's a good way to do it.
It would say if you stay here, absolutely. You'll become part of all.
If I leave, will I take it with me?
Absolutely. You will
Yeah,
become part of all.
I like the sound of that. That sounds pretty.
How long until we become part of all?
From your vision, it was days probably.
Okay. So we've got some time, but basically we all need to,
Yeah.
like, get clean, because otherwise, yeah, we'll become part of all.
Yep.
That sounds pretty great.
Lester for everybody.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
we'll be more than less.
Maybe.
We might be more than his greater uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle Lester could become part of all.
That's so unfortunate, but probably true.
Maybe he is already.
I mean,
Oh.
he is everywhere, and I can call him whenever I want. We're already part of the all. Its resistance is futile. We could just stay. Does my sword fight this at all? Because it wants to control me, or am I on my own?
You feel like you're on your own. It doesn't seem to care at the moment.
It's like whatever, freaking sponge boy. You'll absorb anything. Give it to Jeffrey. He'll eat any.
Pretty much.
So
you guys
if
wanna
we're
do?
going to the if we're
palace.
going to the place, we should get going to the place.
Yeah. I suppose.
It wanted us
To
to
go
go there.
to the
The palace.
palace.
Okay. So you guys are heading for the palace. So
Sounds like we at
Is-
least have days.
Can you upcast Greater Restoration?
You
Yeah.
can,
You can-
I mean, you can, but is there an
be more of
effect?
a house rule?
Oh no.
type
yeah, I don't
of-
think there's an effect. However, I would, if you're using it to take care of a
disease. It would have like a better chance of.
I named this map Throne Room Hydra. I don't know why. We must have been talking about the Hydra while I was typing the name in. Yes, if it was
Likely story.
if it was a more powerful disease and you guys were like, "Can I upcast this to take on a higher level disease?" Yeah, I would definitely allow that to be a thing. Absolutely be a thing. So, you guys travel across the city and you do see the mushroom folk. Oh, they're all over the place. There is more whispering and all that type of stuff going on here and there. There's just a general, I guess, feel like it's super inviting. They are never confrontational. They're obviously not trying to forcefully subdue you into being part of their collective, but there's always the feeling like the desire is there. And so as you get to the main palace, you watch as several mushroom folk clear a path for you to get in. And some of the mushrooms, you watch as their roots and mycelia disconnect so that they can be picked up and moved and replanted in a different place in order to make it in. And you walk in to what used to be the castle, and this is the throne room. And in this room, you watch one of the most amazing things you've ever seen. The sound of the music is now audible. It's not just in your minds anymore. And the pulsing of the lights is here as well. And you're watching the mycelia of the mushrooms have woven themselves together to create strings in between themselves. And the other mushroom caps are playing the strings like a bow. And it's everywhere. This room, it's almost like the entire room is webbed with this stuff, except for the paths from the door to the throne. And you get the real sense really quickly that you're inside this thing's brain.
You.
And the mycelia cords are almost acting like synapses.
Huh.
This is beautiful.
I mean,
We should make her keep like this.
No.
It's so
Othik
pretty,
doesn't
though.
want anyone up in his brain. That's not a safe place to be. For anyone.
Yeah.
So-
Even Othik.
For the first time, like, and the music is playing, and it stops being music and becomes vocal speech style chords, but it has that same tone to it. And so everybody can now hear it, and the all thanks you for coming.
My pleasure.
Welcome.
Why did you want us to come here?
To speak.
We were already doing that.
We were communicating.
I tell. Yes, I understand.
Yes.
You do not want to stay?
Of course I do.
Then
One
you
of us
shall
does.
stay.
Mav would say that he does not want to be here indefinitely.
But you will decompose.
Oh, no, we can't do that. I mean, not here.
Eventually.
I mean, yeah, we do. That's okay.
You
At least, as long as I don't go back to the nines.
would not decompose here.
That sounds pretty great.
Everybody
That's
was
okay.
like, what's that mean? What's he mean by
I
that?
mean, I know what it
Like
means.
the looks
I just-
on your face, you all tipped your head to the side and leaned back. I watched it in the camera. Everybody but Tony, because he's doing whatever he's doing at his desk, but the other three were all like,
Yeah. Correct. Matt would ask if that's a problem.
it is not problem. Being all is a gift to you.
We are meant to decompose.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say.
Explain.
Gosh.
Everything dies. We aren't supposed to be permanent. We are supposed to eventually go and be
Oh.
with the Maker.
So it was able
Why
to
we were created.
show us a vision of what happened to it. Does it not have the same ability to see into the minds of those that it consumed?
I think it's gonna pee in a cup. Here, drink this.
No, not quite.
Close, but not quite.
No, I wanted to reach into the minds of like the original ones that it consumed to become sentient, and then it would understand like the kind of decomposition that, like, their entire people were basically like dying on the way back. Like, if it can access that dwarf's memory or memories or any of the dwarves that it's since consumed, like, it would understand that immediately.
So it conveys to you that it has not brought in new pieces, memories for ages, and it does not have recollection of that type of thinking from the ones it did. It just reiterates that they did not want to decompose.
They didn't want to die.
Yeah.
They didn't want to die.
And so, like, it's got...
So it only understands what it only understands feelings, not memories, is what you're saying?
A little of both. But it seems cloudier on that subject. It seems very clear on, like, actions. Like, if they had done something, it could tell you what they had done. But, like, metaphysical thought process, it does not seem to process very well.
Yeah. So, given where Jeffrey's at with this thing right now, and understanding that, and understanding my party and my, like, all of that, I'm going to share with it my understanding and feeling on death, and the fact that I want to die. I don't want to go to the nines. My fear of death has nothing to do with the dying part. It has to do with the where I'll end up part. And I'll do my best to convey to it the understanding of the afterlife that I have as Jeffrey, and the Maker, and heaven, and Celestia, and all the other, like, the good places. And it's like, death isn't what I fear. It's fear of the unknown that the dwarves likely had, of we don't want to die because we like where we are. Not that we don't want to die.
Okay. Make a persuasion check. At advantage, because you've been... it is in your head and you are in its head. Limitedly, but still.
Really good. 20.
That's really good. So there is a lot of discordant music processing in this room. The light is flashing darker colors than you've seen for a while, and then it stops. And there's a very odd pause, and it says, "Is the all wicked?"
Only if the people that are here, only if their souls are still trapped here. If it's just their bodies, you can do with that whatever you want. But if their souls are trapped here, then yes, you're probably wicked. But if you don't have their souls, then you're fine.
There's more flashing and thrumming and music.
It doesn't know what a soul is, does it?
And from out of one of the clusters of mushrooms stumbles a dwarf, not covered in fungus.
Oh, that got weird.
And he tumbles forward onto the ground and scrambles up. And what in the hell is going on?
No, we're not in the nines.
No.
No.
And he's looking at himself, and he's terrified and apprehensive, and he's looking around at all the mushrooms, and he's really freaked out. And then it asks, "Does your soul want to live?" And he stumbles backwards. And he's like, Don't put me back in. Don't do it."
It could release him. He was covered and now he's not. Like it gave him up.
Is that dwarf okay?
He does not look okay.
I'm gonna cast all emotions on him.
Does he need to make a saving throw for that?
I'm looking. One moment, please.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Because I would just like him to be a little more okay.
And he's probably going to fail. I think a 16 does not beat your DC.
Yeah, no, 19's my DC. So I'm just gonna it's all right, man. Hey, just like you're good. Settle for a moment. Like breathe. Oh wait, don't do that. Actually, hold your breath. Wait. Anyway, you're doing great.
I just want to interject really quick. Sorry. Are we able to talk between ourselves without the all hearing? Like, have we thought
probably not, because it's in Jeff's head.
Yeah.
I'd say we could, but Jeff's here.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Shoot. All right.
So I'm going to try and calm that guy down and ask him if he wants his soul to go where it's supposed to when he perishes.
Sure, but I'd like not to perish for
ever
time.
See, that's the problem. The thing here, this thing didn't understand that, and that's why you've been stuck inside the fleshy goo for a while.
And then when you say that the all is not wicked.
Right. Exactly.
Who is he?
He toss out some random Enganis
is he like
style
one of the original? Is he like one of the first or what?
He's one of the ones that returned.
Yeah.
How many were with you?
At the end? 73? 74? I can't remember.
So I'm gonna
speak
to the all.
Does he look like emaciated?
No, he doesn't. He looks very well nourished.
Yeah. Speaking to the all, how many things within you would be like this creature in semblance or sentience?
Ones that taste like you, or
feel like ones
you?
that feel like us.
73.
Are there any that would sustain you consciously that are not like that?
1,247.
Can we have the ones that are sentient?
What are you saying? You want the 73 or you want more than the 73?
I don't want more than the 73 because the other ones are not sentient creatures.
That's not what you asked.
Said, or is
it didn't sound like
I think you said that backwards.
I want the sentient creatures. I want the 73.
You want the 73. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there more sentient creatures than just those 73? I think is the point.
I think that's also true. But they don't happen to be like us.
What does that mean?
Creatures that have desires.
There's other sentient creatures that are part of it that are not dwarves.
Yes. Desires, but not instincts. That is correct.
Many. 841.
Oof. Oh, so here's the thing. If any of them don't want to be in there,
does
it
a
is
rat
evil
qualify? Because like a rat desires to eat. Like,
rats are strictly speaking, rats are sentient.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're looking for is sapient.
Yes.
Is that what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
That is
but
the word you mean.
it has become very common to make that mistake because it gets used all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sapience, is that...
So,
Yeah.
are
How many
we
sapient-
asking it then if it's willing to release the 73 like to us?
Yeah. Basically, if it does not want to be evil, we are letting it know that if it does not want to be evil, it would need to release anything that does not desire to be within it inherently.
I'm not sure that's the way that you want to explain that to it, because it thinks it was doing them a favor by keeping them alive. The way that it
Yeah,
did.
and on top of that, like, I mean,
We're
we
working on
eat
that.
we eat food that doesn't want to be eaten.
It also thinks that it was a gift.
I mean, we're evil, Adam.
I mean, you are.
As far as it can tell, it did them a favor.
Yeah, I mean, because legitimately, what was going on is that these people were starving and going to die, and now they're not. They're
I
not.
do think
I mean, this
Okay.
guy's clearly not gonna starve to death.
so. Like
Right.
one of the things that I'm kind of curious that I want to ask the
You
all,
are?
and this is more for the all's benefit, is that so it said that it gained sentience when these dwarves ate it originally. So if it releases those dwarves, does it lose its basically like collective
It's
sentience?
sapience. Yeah.
The all does not know. Is this what it is like to be you? To
Uh-huh.
not know
Yep.
Yeah.
what will happen when
That's called fear.
Yeah.
The all
let's-
Welcome to
not-
humanity, my friend.
like fear.
Yeah. No, neither do we. That's the reason those people ate the shrooms. Wow. What a thing. Because it's not wrong. Those people are only alive because they were in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak to the dwarf. Do you have any, like, recollection of the last however long?
He remembers standing in one place till his mind turned to mush.
But then you didn't join the collective sentience?
That concept has no connection for him. The
Can
collective
you
sentience seems to be separate from those who are in it. Like there's a hub for it elsewhere.
Can you ask the sentience or whatever, if it released this dwarf from its preservation, or if the dwarf was never consumed by its all?
It released it.
Yeah.
It released
So
it as
it
an
was-
experiment based on the philosophical conversation you guys were having.
Yeah.
Can you allow the other entities to enter the consciousness of your thoughts and memories? Is that something you're capable of? Not necessarily saying you want to, but asking if you can.
So there's a really deep sour note that comes out through this, and it says yes.
Okay. Would that be a better way to exist for them? Because then they're immortal and get to experience? That's almost like a heaven of its own, isn't it?
It is unsure.
I would pose that question to Mav as our local religi. I mean, that's kind of what a heaven is, right? They're permanent in an ideal space, together with their loved ones. I mean, maybe they just don't want their heaven to be a cave, but other people might consider that a heaven.
I mean, are you suggesting that the Maker created these people to live in eternity away from him?
I mean, he certainly didn't prevent it.
For Mav response, he would ask Jeff to ask him what the purpose is of the all, or what the purpose of basically the dwarfs are and the other creatures are to the all.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Are they food sources that is like one of our crop fields that basically
Yeah.
consume the field and then you replenish? Are they there just to spread the fungus? Like, what is their role in the life of, or
Because they're
the?
clearly not consumed.
It very happily tells you that their waste products feed the mushrooms.
So they're basically a field.
Yeah.
They produce a crop for them. They have,
They're milking the people.
yes.
That's not heaven. That's a farm. Okay.
They are cows.
You're the only one of your kind?
I am the all.
Yeah, it's not what I asked. Why hasn't this happened anywhere else? What
Because
made
I am
you?
the all.
Oh gosh. Mav, I
You
need
had to
you
expect
to do the thing where you talk to the big guy, because I don't think I can use sending on the maker, but I want to try.
Mav definitely tries to communicate to Jeff how much of a moron he is, trying to compare this to heaven, but does not do a good job.
Hey, it sounded real good in the moment, all right? And I'm still high, so I do think this is heaven. Thank you.
I don't think I have the ability to speak with my deity right now.
Fine. I'm going to try and use sending on the maker.
Dude, you are about to like have your eyes and ears blown out.
Okay.
This is St. Cain all
What
over
do you
again.
say?
Yeah.
You have 30 words.
Okay. While he starts this, Mav instructs the other two to turn around, cover their eyes,
Yeah.
and maybe take a couple steps away.
Don't
Yeah.
look at it, Marion. Close your eyes.
Yeah, put your head between your ankles
Definitely
and buckle up.
I will heed this advice.
I'm just going to send a message to the maker that says, "Hey, I think I found one of your discarded creations. Should we leave this here? Or what is
You get a message
the
back,
all
and
Oh gosh. Thank you for
it says
calling customer service.
no, it's loving and angry all at the same time. And it says,
Not doing this again.
"How dare you suggest that I abandoned these people here for eternity? I sent you there to free them." Also, the all will be okay if you set them free.
There we go. So I think that's the important thing to convey to the all, that we
So-
would like the 73 back.
I think Jeff is just sitting on the ground, both laughing and crying.
Probably.
And just looks at Mav and says, "Don't ever let me do that again. Ever. Ever. Ever." Okay. Prayer is fine. I'm going to stick with prayer.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, let my people go.
Oh my gosh.
Or the plagues are going to start.
Don't threaten it.
No, it was, that wasn't. That was conveying the sending.
The all should perish then. The all will be heroic and not wicked.
I'll just flex at him and be like,
But
"Yeah."
we have it
we'll
on
tell
pretty good
stories
authority
about
that
you."
you'll be okay.
Yeah. I will tell stories about you forever. Can we give you a name? Do you like the name All, or can we call you something like
I
Steven?
am the all.
But again,
Even.
aren't we pretty sure that it will be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
No.
And I do want to
Yeah,
convey that to it as well.
No more sapiens.
Am I
Let
to
them
release
go.
every creature that I taste?
The ones like us.
Leave that one to the rest of the guys. I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
What of the other 768?
I mean,
We-
would it
can we
even
go
have
through
a
and
way of
itemize it?
conveying what those are?
Yeah, this is gonna be a long answer, but I think it's worth hearing what those are. You know what? No, it doesn't matter. Let them out. It doesn't matter. Let them out.
All at once.
As the maker said,
Not all at once.
that's going to be a
Not all
war.
at once.
Yeah.
Not all at once.
Oh,
'Cause
line
here's-
them up. We need to identify and properly redistribute.
Oh my gosh. Just first, can we just find out if it has a way of conveying the others that it has in its collective that are not like us, but have
Sure.
sentience?
So it conveys all manner of sapient creatures from the Underdark. There are Dwergar here. You would describe them of similar feel, but not the same. Drow. There are legit myconids in here that now that it's starting to understand emotion through this style of communication. And you pick up too along the way that everything else always tried to get away from it, so it made it part of itself, but it thought it was doing it a favor. Like, you guys are the first people who will actually willingly trounce into this room and have a conversation with it.
Yeah. I mean, because
Yeah.
why wouldn't we?
So there's goblinoids and bugbears and other stuff. There are illithid in here. It had no context for what those were, but they are here. It's all over the place.
Okay, so can we suggest a staged release process that will result in the least catastrophic outcome possible?
Maybe it keeps the illithids.
Maybe. No. I think, well, I don't know. I think Thanek has to have a voice on that because you said release all.
I mean,
You said you thought release all.
I do. I still think release
Does
all.
that change your mind now that you?
No.
Okay.
Guys, if
So-
we turn this into a movie, it's going to be called Jeffrey Almighty.
So we basically just have to
The things that taste the same get released together.
Yeah. Oh, how about instead of that? Does it have a context for memory of when groups that were taken together?
Mm-hmm. It does.
So could it release it in the groups that it took together? So all the dwarves could come out all maybe not necessarily all at once, but
actually I was gonna say even more than that. I'm just gonna kind of blanket statement this, and feel free to veto me if you want. But I'm just gonna kind of lay this out here.
Veto?
So no, not that kind of veto. We just want to convey some kind of plan that's not going to be problematic for anyone, but that also basically organizes in a certain way. So we'll want to probably be at the exit with the 73, so that either us or whoever is the leader, maybe this guy, can address all these people who are going to be absolutely stunned once they get released. They're going to have and probably be incredibly hysterical. We'll have to prepare for that as well. Hehowever, I think that at least in another context, with the illithids, I don't know that we do want them released together.
Here's the problem with the illithid is
Can we
that
release them one at a time so we can kill them all?
yeah
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean-
I don't know. Is that what we're saying? I don't know.
there is a
whole army of them.
Thanek has an actual moral quandary about specifically the illithid, in that
Yeah.
they are awful, evil creatures that if even one of them survives, they're gonna do everything they can to take over.
I got an idea.
On the other hand, genocide is at what point is genocide not an evil, awful thing?
I've got two ideas.
Matt will have a suggestion or a question after Oathig's idea.
What if, okay, Adam, hey, what if we do the group thing, but we also address what if we basically like oversee all the groups as they happen?
I mean, I thought that would just be.
I wasn't originally thinking of that, but like to your point, so like depending on how many illithids there are, like doing that however we would need to do that be safe and like have basically like everyone on board and have everything be okay as it unfolds. What if we use that also as an opportunity to find out about the illithilich?
Illithich.
I mean, that's true. So this is I will 100%.
We could basically offer like an ultimatum, like, hey, this is the situation that you found yourselves in. We've freed
yeah.
you.
I mean, I'm about to make a very arrogant statement, and I'm aware of that there's problems with that. But I have full confidence in my psychic abilities to communicate dominance over them. They're going to be coming in not in good shape. They are not going to be like, we're not getting them fully rested. We're getting them in a state of confusion, and you know what I mean. So
Yep.
there's a
You have the upper
there's
hand.
a yes.
He
yes.
reprogram them when he lets them out.
No, he cannot reprogram them.
Okay, it was worth a
Andy,
shot.
What was Mav gonna add to this?
Oh yeah.
Remember when we were
I don't
talking
even
about like if certain things were evil and you want to reprogram it?
Oh, yeah, I remember what I was going to ask. So, if you encountered an illithid in the wild, would you give it a second thought as to whether or not you'd kill it?
That depends entirely on whether or not it was aggressive to us or our clan.
Sure, I'd agree with that.
If it was not aggressive to us, I mean, that's Fazergul.
I mean,
That's true.
yeah, we did get inside an illithid ship at one point in time in our lives. So
So if the illithid is
More than one.
really bored and looking for new life experiences, it's probably
Yeah.
okay.
then we'll take it with us and treat it as our.
This is such an interesting conversation, and I am beyond thrilled that all of this went the way it did. I really expected a lot more destroying and burning of mushrooms, but but it didn't go that way. So I'm really
Don't feel bad. It was definitely on the list.
Oh,
I mean, we still could. We got
Always
time.
on the list.
Yeah. But like,
It's always on the list.
I'm much happier
the
that
night's
one
still
of our
young.
last adventures didn't end in a bloodbath, but it ended in philosophy, and I just think that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's what makes Othing the rightful leader.
It's see, in this discussion in particular, knowing that once it was going this way, I was like, they're totally going to end up setting all these things free. Like, what do you do with the illithid? What do you do with the other evil, inherently evil races and terrible things that are down here that are locked up inside of this? Because it's like in Zombie World, you don't leave a walker alive because that's always the one that eats you later.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
If you're
The
Wizards of the
honest answer
Coast,
may
you just
be-
change the lore.
We just let it be and let nature do nature, and the illithids that become a problem are dealt with when they become a problem.
it's up to you guys.
Yeah, but
Or-
there's the moral quandary of innocent people getting hurt because of your negligence.
So is it better to
Yeah.
let it, or is it better to massacre or genocide a race because of the things that may happen?
Right.
Yes.
Because of
In
future
cause-
crimes.
Because the cause of that, or
I've
let
seen,
them do
Demolition
bad
Man.
things and
Yeah.
deal with it after it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
It's
Are
such a-
Yeah.
you better for killing Saddam Hussein because of a perceived issue in the future,
Yeah.
or
I
do
get
you
the chance,
reckon-
I'm going back and I'm going to put 2 in Hitler. I'm just saying.
Sure.
My
So
thought process, specifically on the illithid, and like with like the goblins and like those kind of goblinoid creatures, like they are what they are,
Level
and
3 spell away from being dead, so it's all
I
good.
mean, it's one of those things to where like their intelligence is so in so low, and I know obviously that they're high enough to be player characters, but
As a
like their
culture.
intelligence is, as a culture, they're low enough to where like they can't functionally be dishonest, because if they break a promise, they're not breaking a promise. They just forgot that they made it in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like
They're
we
children.
can, yeah. I mean, we can make them promise that they won't be an issue or they won't go raiding, but tomorrow they may forget entirely that they had this conversation.
Mhm.
You know, and they are what they are, and you know that's that. The illicit, on the other hand, um, I think they are. They are.
Yep.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, but I think I would be specifically with the illicit. I would be willing to risk, based on us having a relationship with an illithid. Um, he's not an illithid specifically, but you know, Fazergul.
Yeah.
But
Puzzle.
um, that he has proven to not
Not every illithid is evil, in the sense
right,
that
or at least he is evil, but he's not. He's not.
honest
Yeah.
evil.
He's not a
evil
monster.
honest.
Yeah, he's not. Right, he's not a monster.
He's
You
not
know what
a
I mean?
philosophical monster.
Yeah. So if these guys, if the guys that we let out, and I have a conversation with them, and that conversation about being, you know, don't you just go make your own colony and leave the rest of us alone. We will leave you alone. But the moment that changes, we're coming after you, and we will not stop.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's talk procedure here for just a moment. How do you want to let people out of here?
Hang on. I just want to be clear. So we're doing all the sentient creatures,
I think
or
we're doing
just
all
the
the creatures.
73?
Period.
What?
I think we're doing all the creatures. Period.
Okay. Okay.
I believe that is
Alright.
the discussion.
Yeah.
Is
So
the
I think-
entire focus of the all to have somebody produce poop for them?
For the most part, yeah. It's how it has survived. It's entirely possible it could survive another way, but this is how it has always survived.
If I was to eat some of its mushrooms, would I become part of it?
Yes.
Is it able to prevent that? Basically, can the dwarfs live here, cohabitating with it, using it as a food source, but also providing a food source to it?
It could.
We could also have this be the new destination for all of our magical poop shoots.
We also could facilitate that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Are
We
you
would like to-
sure? Because
We-
this
I mean,
thing will
Yeah,
grow.
yeah. That's
Yeah. We
true.
might come
I mean,
back,
that's
and
a
this
good
thing
idea.
is just.
Has decided it wants to be evil now.
This is just like it has grown to the size of the entire inside of the planet.
You know,
No,
fat
it
fat
is
people have a
under-
very hard time making good food choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. this is
If you
true.
want
Hey,
an all-consumable
so
source
do
of food,
skinny people. That's how they get fat. You're not born fat.
I mean,
True.
yeah, you are. Have you seen babies?
I'm fat on the
No,
inside.
I've actually made a strategic effort not to.
They're all fat. If they're healthy, they're fat.
All right.
I would say
This-
by group is what you'd release them as.
Yep.
Yeah, I think.
My
What-
question
do we
was, do you
want-
want to deal with the violent ones first, or do you want to get all the innocent people to safety first?
Oh, violent ones
Like,
first. then
which
we would-
scale side do you want to err on this?
I think.
Innocent, get rid of them.
Where are we gonna
like-
put them?
What did you say?
Anywhere to give them as much time to run. Because what is to stop a mind flayer from waiting outside 3 turns from where you are?
Yeah. No,
and
that's
just
fair.
And-
the brains of all of them.
Also, I think the other thing too, like if we, especially like I'm not sure about anyone else, but like at least with the 73 with the dwarves, like I am hoping or imagining, at least in some context, that before like we get done with this, that if they understanding the plan would, stand like safety in numbers sort of thing. Like, because if we're gonna like release like one illithid at a time, because I don't know how many there are.
I think he said 13.
Then we can handle it. But like if we're gonna do like certain group, I don't know. I'm just saying like the more help might be the better. But I don't know. If anyone decides to stand with us or just decides to go, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yes. They might not even want to stay down here. Like they might just want to like follow us back to the surface because
some of them, I think that should be an option. That
because like they might want to just start a new life on the surface.
Now remember, these dwarves have never heard of the surface, and when
Actually,
we told,
they have. That's where they set out for in the pilgrimage was to find.
It's true.
Surface.
Yeah, but Pardiac, when we told him we were from the surface, he thought we were lying.
Yeah, because there was a lot of them that it's like any statement of faith.
Yeah,
there's people.
So that's what I'm saying.
It.
But he was.
That's what I'm saying. There may be some who just don't want to follow us because they think
he never had that opportunity because he was in stasis forever and a day. So like,
yeah,
that was something that his people did, but he never got to experience that.
And that's probably accurate. There'd be a portion of the culture that was like, yeah, no, we tried that once. It brought us back here, and look what happened.
Right. I mean, because they're here because they turned around to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think it should definitely be an option if they want to come with us, and they can. If they want to stay here and try to live, I mean, I would suggest the all more of a protector relationship. That if it can keep the dwarves of Enganis safe and have it be a healthy cohabitation instead of a forced symbiotic
relationship.
Yeah.
Which it understands now, so there's that.
Yeah. I mean, because it wasn't necessarily like the part of it that it was doing wrong was a part that was beyond its understanding.
Until we showed up and had a conversation with them.
You know what I mean? Like a wolf isn't evil because it kills rabbits.
Yeah.
A wolf might
because it's going around doing property damage, blowing everybody's freaking house down.
Exactly.
But if on the other hand, it is like torturing the animals and it is, not allowing them to, that's a different situation. That's what it was doing. It was, basically kidnap these people unknowingly. If it like based on that suggestion, does it understand that concept of letting them free?
And I would say through a lot of further concepts and questionings, like the more it begins to learn the skill of philosophy, you're pretty impressed with how quick it picks stuff up.
Yeah.
Like it would to the point even, I wouldn't say argue with you, but it would ask you if you were sure about some of the more violent creatures that it has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that type of stuff. But it is willing to do right by what it now sees as all the wrong that it has done.
Yeah.
So whatever form that ends up taking, it is willing.
So honestly, I say let the dwarves out first and let them. This is their city.
Yep.
If they want to stay here, they should get the first option.
Just to be clear, like it's willing to kind of work that out with whatever inhabitants decide to stay here.
It would be willing, to do that.
Okay.
Just to be clear. All right, so you let the dwarves out first. Letting creatures out has an almost immediate visual effect on the all. Patches and groups of mushrooms wither and crumble into dust really quickly within hours of it releasing creatures.
Sad.
So it obviously feeds off of, it says that off of their waste, but there's more going on there than just that.
Yeah.
The dwarves are led by a fella named Car Brightbeam. And
Beans.
Love it.
And they're uncertain what they want to do. There's a lot of voices among them clamoring for different things, and there's people who are like, no, we should stay here. You know, if what these guys are saying is true and this thing is willing to help protect us and not enslave us, we should stay. And there's others who are like, I don't know if I could ever sleep here again.
Yeah.
Because they're just so creeped out by everything that has happened. But they are, however, willing to help facilitate cleansing of their city. Because they all at least kind of agree on that what has happened is bonk. And they don't want it this way.
Yeah. Based on the sort of excess crumbling to dust,
Mm-hmm.
does the all feel weaker because of that?
The all will endure.
I'm not about killing this thing in the process.
Hey man, the maker said he'll be all right.
Maker said it'd be all right with the 73 released.
No, he said to free my people.
Mm-hmm.
If we believe that the maker made all, we believe that all are in the maker's image.
Yeah, I thought that was in reference just to the 73.
I'm pretty sure it was to everything.
Okay.
Yeah. That one's Jeffrey being definitely within that, like, I'm a paladin now thing, so.
Okay. Well, I mean, it wants to do the right thing anyway, so yeah, if we're going for it, let's
leave the more feral, violent,
you
dangerous creatures till the end.
Yeah,
till the end, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you work your way down the line. You encounter something you did not... I mean, you were told that they were there, but when they come out, it is something you release the Gith. And you find out that these Gith...
Forgot about them.
Were down here to put their eggs in a creche. And so you have seen a party of Gith with Gith eggs, which is extraordinarily rare.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need a persuasion roll to talk them
down. Would we be able to consult our Gith on that topic?
You could.
I mean, he's not anywhere near us.
No, but it's been a day, so Jeffrey could remessage again.
Yeah, I would like to find out if that's a good thing or a bad thing to involve ourselves with.
Mm-hmm.
Shortest way to kind of be like, hey,
how to navigate this.
Yeah,
I have no context for this.
Basically, mostly just trying to get an advantage on the persuasion roll.
The Gith.
You'd have it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what Gith are, but not the eggs part. This part is not.
They hide their eggs for like 100 years on the mortal plane because when they're on their own plane, they don't age. And so they come to the mortal planes to hide their eggs so their children can develop into adults. And then they go home. And it's the only way they reproduce. So contacting your Gith is very insightful and helpful. You've been good to him, and for the most part, he just likes to be left alone, but he's done his part when you've called upon him. He tells you that to tell them, he gives them a phrase, and it's by the blood on the blade of the Gith's eye. These dwarves will not harm you.
Okay.
And so you may have advantage on your persuasion roll.
Cool. And yeah, I will. Mav, what is your persuasion? You had a decent persuasion, didn't you?
Decent persuasion?
Yeah, what's your persuasion?
11.
Oh, never mind. Mine's a 7.
I was really hoping you just repeat decent persuasion again.
Oh, There we go.
Oh,
Wow, another
that
did
one.
that today.
Another 40.
Dude.
So, you
dropped a 1.
you do this in such a perfect manner. You inflect the right tones of aggression with the perfect statements of submissiveness to their mission on the side and non-interference, and they're really taken aback. And one of them approaches you and asks you, you begin to have a conversation. They ask you where you heard that, and then you tell them that you have a astral soul
An ambassador.
monk ambassador living among you, and they go and they confer among themselves, and they want to send one of theirs with you to offer him a way home.
Yes.
Deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So you now have a Gith Zerai with you.
Yep.
Did we
I would
did
like
we get the
to
Or is it
impression
Gith
that
Yankee? I don't remember which ones are the nice ones.
I don't remember
Gith-
either.
Whichever
Gith
one's the nice
Zerai.
one. Yeah, I think
Gith
so.
Zerai, I think are.
I want to incite them if I can. But
Did we get the impression that he was like homesick, that he wanted to go home?
No.
Is
but
that they would offer a way if he wants to, not force him to go. That was my
Yes.
interpretation.
in their
Yeah.
culture,
Right.
his situation, the fact that he is staying with you is super weird because he's aging.
Yeah.
And they only have human lifespans, so they're not like
Yeah.
elves. So for them to, why would you willingly stay on the Prime? Something must be wrong, or you're trapped here, or you feel exiled, or whatever. But for helping save a creche, he would be honored with being able to come back home if he was exiled, type thing. It's-
Okay. Fair enough.
That's all the stuff that would come out in a conversation, and you'd be like, yeah, I don't know why he's hanging out with us, but we freed him from a bunch of slot, and he just hung out.
yep,
Yeah.
we never asked.
He probably wouldn't have told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't
That's
have.
fair.
That's fair.
So you do now have to roll another persuasion check with him to keep him from murdering all the Illithid when they come out.
Oh, I was gonna send him to our keep straight away with
Oh.
teleportation circle.
Oh, okay, you can do that. That's fine.
Yeah, those guys are gonna go on their way, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, they're
This
gonna
is-
they're gonna head off to find some other place to put their creche.
This is why we did the staging process.
Do we have any safe place that we know of where we could maybe send them?
I was just gonna
With
say
their
I'm not
crest?
necessarily gonna tell them where to go.
They would deny you
because I don't
outright,
want. Yeah,
'cause
but it
nobody
would.
gets to have any clue where they
Oh,
go. other than
yeah.
them.
Yeah,
But
but I
most I would do is
would.
offer to teleport them somewhere else to start their journey.
I think we should share with them the layout of what we know.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do that.
Okay, they would accept that. They would take that.
Yeah.
They would
If for
find
no
that
other reason
valuable
than-
information.
They could choose not to use one of those spots.
Right.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
places
they'd
to
be
avoid.
thankful
Watch
for
out for the purple hydras.
Or tell them
Yeah.
there's a purple Hydra skull there that they could put their crest in.
Yeah.
Right on. So you release a few more groups of creatures. The goblins just scatter. The goblinoids.
That's fine. No,
they,
that's fine.
There's no talking them down. Jeff tries calm emotions on a few, and they sneak off instead of just
makes them
bolt
worse.
for the exits.
It makes them worse.
That's awesome.
And it goes on. So we hit the Illithid. The Drow are pretty indignant. The Dwergar go to pick a fight with you, but you know enough Dwergar and customs to where you calm that
Just
one
say,
down.
try it, friend.
And they slink off. But the Illithid, the most dangerous of the things you're about to let go that aren't creatures. Any thoughts on how you want to make that happen? There's a dozen of them.
I'm okay.
One at a
I'm not
time.
So-
releasing them all at once.
No,
That's
let's.
my
No,
initial
I
thought.
think we should. I think we absolutely should release them all at once as a sign of. Here's my thought. Here's my thought.
The DM just looked really surprised by
I'm aware of. I'm
your
aware of his
wanton
face.
disregard for.
That is almost exactly what it is. I want to demonstrate the wanton disregard for their own safety. I want them to know
I'm
we
worried
are
about
not.
I'm worried about the
afraid.
wanton disregard for our own
No,
safety.
All I hear Thanik saying is, "I want them to pick a fight."
I want them to know we are
Basically.
not afraid of them. If we
Yeah.
release
Hey,
them
first-
one at a time,
Okay, but
that
first,
means
do we have others who are standing with us?
Yeah.
And
All
how
the
many
other
are
dwarves are still here, so you have 75 or 73.
they? So 73 decided to stay
They're
with
all
us
still
no matter
hanging
what
out.
kind of
there's
crazy fallout.
yeah.
I mean,
But
they're in the city, they're not
Exists in an
necessarily
armory.
standing with you right now.
I don't
would
know
not
if I want them.
to join us.
Yeah, I don't know if I
It would
want them
be
to
four of
avoid it
us.
because they're not necessarily adventurers.
And they've
No.
been encased for like thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't think all of them
They're gonna hang out in my
were
mansion.
or would be, but I thought there might be a contingent in there that if they understood our mission, they maybe would.
There would be some.
There might be
I knew
a
we'd get
couple
to
of
this
them.
point.
Yep.
I knew we'd get to this point, and so I'm just wondering, like, is it 5
Let me put it this
4
way.
V12 or is it like 50 V12?
Let me put it this way:
You get
if there's
about
12 of them,
20 soldiers, led by
if
Bright
there's
Green.
if it's 12 on 4, then they don't have enough.
That depends on how well you all roll when they psychically blast you.
I mean,
that?
half of us are
Permanently.
immune.
That's true.
Hey,
The
can
other
you
half could-
wish to give me mind blank?
No, I can only. Yeah, I can, but I'm not giving it to you instead of me.
Well, use mind blank on you and use wish to give me mind blank.
No.
I'm just saying, like, I think we should,
I hate
like,
you.
if you're gonna do all 12, we need to take a few other precautions.
Which is fine. Which is
Okay.
totally fine. But this specific thing is I want them to see that like we are not afraid of them. This is
I would-
not an issue where where if we're pulling them out one at a time, that means like
We don't
It's-
trust
it-
them and we're worried about them.
yeah. Whereas if we bring them out all one at a time and I show a force of psychically speak to all of them at once of like fall in line or we're just gonna kill you all.
But
So-
remember, I don't know, maybe this is just like a personal vendetta, but I want to find out about the
Yeah,
Illithid.
no, which is yeah, totally. They also might not know anything because that might be pre.
Honestly,
They
it's
might
not
have
even
gotten
my
taken-
personal vendetta. It's really more Jeff's personal vendetta that I'm just willing to back him up with.
No, and I'm fine trying to figure out information about that. Just understand that they might not be connected, and that might be.
No, I
before
totally
their
get that.
time.
I totally get that. I just feel like they're the ones who would have
They-
the most
they could have an
ability
answer,
to have some understanding
Right
of
on.
the
So
situation.
then let's do an intimidation check for them coming out of their pods.
Oh man, I got +7. Am I rolling or is someone else?
Intimidation, I have a +17 on.
Dude, what?
Right. I would allow you
How?
to use your strength if that helps, but I still don't think you're gonna get.
No. I don't have
Yeah.
a +7.
Because
He's
he's
got-
got
He's
expertise.
got expertise,
Charisma, man.
and
Yeah.
he's jacked on charisma. Yeah.
Well, go
Paladin.
you.
Danik, I would suggest that we use our wishes to give the other two mind blank if we're going to get into a tussle with
I mean, we could.
12 mind flares.
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
All right,
At least
I'll do it.
Thing, so
All right,
that
you hit you hit O thing, and I'll hit. The
Yeah.
problem with this, I just want to point this out before we go ahead with this. I don't know if I don't, and this is a clarification for the DM. With me using mind blank, I can still communicate with telepathic bond,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember if you said that was because of my own personal telepathic expertise, or
No, I think it's just the nature of the spell. Like,
okay,
Yeah,
so we
it
could
was a-
all.
it was a willingness versus a force.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that won't. If we all have it, it won't mess up that.
Should not.
Okay, all right. I'm fine.
All right.
Then yeah, then let's just put it on everybody. Everybody's got it.
Okay, so everybody's got it, and the illithids are brought out of their mushroomness. Jeff, Please
Can we all be
communicate to them
smiling
to
at them?
stand down. There is, you guys are all up front. There's a bunch of dwarves further in the back.
We're just all smiling at them, no weapons out.
Basically, stand down and listen for a second.
29.
I got close.
Oh.
I kind of wanted to fight.
So you see their tentacles twitch, and you could tell they are speaking amongst themselves as well, because these are psychic creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And they
What are they saying?
You want to read their thoughts?
Oh, are you going to
I
invade?
will absolutely read their thoughts.
They do have a make a roll.
Does it seem like one is sort of more in charge?
The
There
leader.
definitely
You're
does.
looking for the leader.
There is
Okay.
one who is. You can tell just by his gear that he's in charge. His station. They definitely cow to him.
Rolled a 7.
Plus 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Gosh.
Expertise, man, makes all the difference.
again, that's really close. But not enough. I have an 18 on the dice, so
Wow.
yeah. But it's darn close. And
You
so
could use
these are-
your.
He doesn't need it.
Oh no.
Hey,
it's
I
not.
don't.
No,
I,
he still
yeah, I
wins.
don't need it.
Because
Oh,
these are
okay.
not like super high level, like master illithids or more in the regular vein. So you get into their conversation, and they're talking about, they are actually not even discussing you. Like fighting you might have been discussed earlier, but it's not even being discussed right now.
Okay.
They're discussing almost immediately where they go next to find Volglazak.
Is that what's his name?
That's the dude's name.
Is that the
That's
dude?
the Illithich.
Is there a way for me to
Just continue to listen. Like, can you
dig into
understand
that
context?
without like making my presence known?
You would have to make another roll, but my bonus to my roll goes up the more you dig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Eh,
Oh no!
Oh.
So there's an that one. You peel back into that, and there's a little bit of discussion about them because they seem to have psychically endured better in mushroom form than the other beings you've let go, and they've been talking about a lot of stuff on and off throughout the years, and they have a better sense of how much time has passed almost immediately, where everybody else seemed confused, and they're referring to him in his pre-lich state. In their minds, he's just an aberrant arcanist.
And they still respect him?
No, they're hunting him.
Oh, we have allies here, boys. Oh, we have allies, boys. Because he has surpassed what they... Oh, man. Okay.
We might have some common ground here, maybe. What are you doing?
This is on you.
Are you gonna say
Banner.
anything, or are you gonna keep at this?
I am going to try Inception. I'm going to make one of them think something, but none of them have any idea where that thought came from. Of like somebody thought it, but of like what happens
But it
if
was
he,
the other guy, and then
Oh my gosh,
the other guy.
Okay.
I just want to drop the thought of
I'm going to give you an inspiration, Danik.
okay, what if Vogelzak has become more powerful in the length of time?
Okay, this
That
is a pretty
they-
tough DC. So
Yeah,
you better,
that's fine.
You better roll high.
I better.
Am I able to give him guidance?
Yeah, you're telepathically bonded. You would know he's doing this. So
Okay.
Well, I meant more so like with the illithid's not noticing.
probably not.
Oh,
You dirtbag. Look at what I got on my dice. I thought I had you. I knew I had you. So even with my plus 15, it is not enough. So there's a definite change in their pattern of conversation. And they begin to ask. And so the lead one takes on a very polite posture. And he looks at you all. He says, I have conferred with my companions. We are indebted to you for releasing us. We do not like to be indebted. But I have decided to increase that debt further and ask if you know the whereabouts of any of my kind that have access to magic.
We want to name drop Thanak? Do we want to just drop the name?
The only one
You
we
mean
know about
you mean
is-
Ballsack?
Yeah.
He looks. You don't know a whole lot about the way illithids, express themselves verbally, but he just looks disgusted by doing this. But there's a part of it where, like, in the psychic link, everybody was like, "That's a really good idea," but none of them wanted to do it. But they all went, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, if these people were powerful enough to free us from this, then yeah.
Do we want to name drop Thanak? I kind of want to name drop and be like, do you mean Ballsack?
We need to butcher his name.
Yeah, Ballsack.
Or be like, I can't pronounce your filthy names.
It was
Wow.
You just want to communicate to him with a butchered name, the events, basically.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
So all of their tentacles, like, they stop twitching. And you could see their eyes kind of just, like, look at each other.
They have we have their attention.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
definitely
they
have
do.
their attention. And so then they ask you a couple of follow-up questions about where... Well, you kind of communicated that type of stuff. And they... How would it... So, okay, this is what we're going to do. The leader extends one of his facial tentacles, pulls it taut, and then pulls this glowing knife out from his belt and slices the tip off of it and passes it to you.
You want me to cut the tip off?
And says that if you encounter him again, put it to your temple and think about the 12 here.
Yeah, all right, and I'll grab it.
Whoa.
And
You grabbed the
he
tip.
Hang on. Before we
totally just circumcised himself and gave it to Adam.
yeah, that's messed up.
Okay.
It's totally messed up.
Oh yeah, octopi. That's it. Oh
you-
gosh. Oh gosh.
Are
Oh
you-
gosh.
Are you okay with this course of events, or did you actually want to tell them like what we know and like go on a hunting raid on the way back?
Together.
I mean, so here's the problem: is that we don't know where he went.
Yeah,
that
you
actually
don't.
isn't that hard.
No, we don't. That's true.
And they
But
don't
it
know
might
where he
be-
went either.
It might be easier. Like,
We have access to Fazragul, who could probably help us find that guy. His
I mean,
ability
based
to
on-
find things is huge distances. If we can find a way to link these guys with Fazragul, it increases his power tenfold. Fazragul told us that when we first got with him, he's sacrificing his power by not having illithids inside of him.
He did
If we
say that.
put our illithids inside Fazragul and bring him down here, we will find that lich.
Does Fosragul fit down here?
Fazragul
we-
would not fit down here.
We were
would
able
fit
to
down
Jeff
here to me.
polymorphed him.
He was really not okay with that before. However, I think he would be okay with me polymorphing him this time if he is introduced to this situation the way
does
that
that
we know
put
it.
Fazragul in danger, like for us, like of like being double crossed by these guys?
I mean, it's
possibly?
something. It's
That
something
makes
that I would not even bring that up without talking to
Discussing
Fazragul
with him.
first.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if Fazragul knows about the existence of this illithid lich, I don't think we'll be able to stop him from wanting to hunt it.
I don't. I
It's
have no
an
idea.
exciting thing. It's like it's
I mean,
an next
sure.
big adventure. He wants to die excitedly. So
I think he
I mean,
doesn't
we all
want
do,
to die
don't
at
we?
all.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. Not like that, but anyway. If you show him the tip, he might get even more excited.
Put that away.
I'm just saying. I think that's my plot and process. I will follow whatever else, but that's my thought.
No, I think it's worth bringing up to Fazergul if that's something that he wants to do, but he hasn't connected with them on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do you want to tell these guys to like chill out a minute or what?
Yeah, guys, just chill out. There's some beer in the corner.
Yeah.
We can contact
they are
a
not
friend.
going to chill out. They're going to take their leave, and you can call them if you need them.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fine.
Here it is.
So, as the releasing of stuff comes to a close, the animals are actually easier to wrangle than the sentients were, because they basically go into flight mode for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a couple more powerful ones that pick a fight, but it's nothing you guys can't handle.
Do we care if it keeps the animals?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I thought somebody said that earlier. I couldn't.
I
remember.
do. I mean,
Adam did.
there isn't a single creature who has a sense of self-preservation
right.
that wants
You
to
did
be
mention
stuck
that.
in there.
Yeah.
And so you can watch as the last few of them go, and there's literally nothing left of the all across the city. The last place you find him is wrapped around the crown of Volkovak Vakir in the statue in the throne room. He is wearing a crown of mushrooms, and you can only communicate to him now when you are very, very close to the statue.
Well, let's unleash this thing on the hells.
Oh my gosh.
It says
I don't know if that's
the
great or
all
bad
would
idea.
like to go to the Maker someday, not to the hells. That sounds terrible.
That's fair.
Yeah. You're right, bud. That is terrible.
That's fair.
I'm very tired. I think I
had a
will
long day,
sleep
bud.
now. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all.
So,
You did good.
And that's where
Thank
I'll
you.
leave you guys.
thank you, Albert.
Actually, that's not where I'll leave you guys.
Oh,
Just
no?
kidding.
Just kidding. You have all these dwarves with you. Jeff, are you going to start sending them home? They have decided not to stay. They are going to,
Yeah.
and here's why. The ones that want to stay know that they can't hold this place if trouble comes. So they want to go to where all of their descendants are and recruit people to come back.
Come back here.
Now that
Like,
that
wanna-
there's a path to the surface, it's known and can be traveled. They want to do it that way.
So they want to come by where their descendants are. They want to come to Granite Keep.
Well,
Is that what they're talking about?
I would say
They
this
wanna
whole
come
process
outside.
took quite a few days. So
Yeah.
they would have asked questions about where dwarves live now, and the dwarven
Euros.
homeland by all dwarves is considered Kar Euros.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's where they would like to go.
Absolutely.
But I mean, they think Granite Keep sounds cute.
Is Euros even capable of sustaining at the moment? It's like in a
Euros,
weird,
yeah.
isn't it? Isn't it in a weird like
It's
state
in a
of like?
rough spot, but it's nothing
Yeah.
dwarves haven't gone through before. Yeah, it's a sustainable country.
Okay.
I mean, there is the whole war that's about to break out with the people that took our burial site.
Yeah, and I mean, last time we were there, like
They didn't care
Like,
much
part
about
of-
that.
part of what we were there for was like this vampire dude that we
Yeah,
never
you
met.
dealt with the electric vampire. That was
Oh yeah, we did
causing
meet.
problems.
We did meet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there was the battle with the cultists going on in the lower cities, but that's over now as well. So they're recovering like any other major city.
Okay.
So that's ultimately where they'll want to go.
All right.
And so
In the meantime,
yeah,
would I be able to like are there is like their library and stuff? Was that all? Is that all decayed?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's anything that is not stone or metal has long since was eaten by the all. It did devour that stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys send the dwarves on their way or teleport them out or whatever you're going to choose to do. And then all of a sudden, Thanok, your cell phone rings. Your wife's calling.
Yeah. Hello, honey.
She's like,
I'm fine.
hey,
Everything's fine now.
Good. I'm glad. How are your mushroom friends?
I think he's dead.
Oh. Well, we
dying.
have another friend who doesn't want to be dead. You remember Cadmus, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently some gigantic serpent came up out of the crack in the ground outside of his town. It's going to eat the city. He asked if you could pay him a visit. Okay, bye.
Again?
Yeah, we'll be right over.
How many times is a snake gonna try and eat that town?
It never tried the first time. You guys
Oh,
made a
it
mess
just
of its
hung out?
plans. Just was in the hole. And you never went to bother to check back in on it.
No, we didn't. We absolutely didn't.
Nope.
Huh.
Fucking snakes, man.
So that's
You make
where
this
I'll
sound
leave
like
you.
it's our fault.
Yeah, you suck. You suck. That's awesome, but you suck.
All right. That's going to be it,
Best
gentlemen.
laid plans of dwarfs and men awfully go awry.
Always.
Dwarfs and a halfling.